Providence, where we love beyond belief. I am Alyssa Emerson, your worship associate for this morning, and I'm happy to introduce our guest in the pulpit today, who will be the Reverend Ken Reeves. Reverend Reeves is a graduate of Star King School for the Ministry and has served congregations in Ohio and Delaware. He has also earned a master's degree in pastoral counseling and a PhD in clinical psychology. He is currently a clinical psychologist with a therapy practice and a consulting psychologist with the Center for Career Development and Ministry. He is also the author of the book, The Whole Church, Congregational Leadership Guided by Systems Theory. And when I was in a small congregation in Florida, 5 of our small congregations used his book to put ourselves together into a community. So it's not bad reading. Please join me, if you will, in the unison reading in your order of service as we light our chalice. I'm going to try to get this not to make quite so much noise, but I don't know how to do it. This light burns also in our hearts, and it lights our path toward harmony, justice, and hope for all.
Good morning. May peace be in your hearts. Through the energy of freedom and the warmth of love, may you live the fullness of being alive, and in that fullness find peace. Through justice and understanding, may humanity be at peace, and may all of life on earth live together in balance and peace. It's good to be with you all this morning. I want to thank Neil Bartholomew for inviting me and helping plan the service. It's also sweet to be here with Cynthia Rosengard. As mentioned, I was studying for a PhD in psychology, actually earned it, and Cynthia was on my dissertation committee in Palo Alto, California, where I was studying to be a psychologist. So, hi. We are a Unitarian Universalist congregation, and to me that means that we are a support community for people on various journeys towards ultimate goals, such as love, or peace, or union. And one of the many ways we support each other is by valuing together peace, human worth, and democracy. Living these humane values helps our congregations be supported places and helps us bring peace, human worth, and democracy to the world. Peace is a safe condition in which to live. Worth frees people. And democracy is that system of government which best supports human prosperity and flourishing. Unfortunately, this week's invasion of Ukraine violates our values for peace, people, and self-determination. I'm guessing you share with me sadness, a chill of fear, and anger over this violence. I respond to this terror by reaffirming my beliefs in peace, and that people are worthy, and that we are all in this together. Globally, I believe we are one people, on one planet, with one future. I also respond by looking for hope, and find hope in humanity's trend toward unity and peace. For instance, one example of this trend, we have gone from an affiliation to a clan, to a tribe, a city, a state, a nation, and federations of nations. And these larger affiliations support this trend toward peace. The spiritual experience of oneness with all supports that trend toward union and peace. As people experience spiritual union, they realize their relatedness to all people and want the good for their brothers and sisters. I had a spiritual experience of this nature while serving as an intern minister in Ventura, California in 1984. Our church had occasion to host travelers on a goodwill tour from the then Soviet Union. And as I was greeting them, a young man about my age stepped off the bus. I welcomed him, saying, "Hi, I'm from Ventura." He replied with a smile, "Hi, I'm from Moscow." We shook hands, and for me it was a moment of connection that seemed bigger than met the eye, like recognizing my brother. Something a little mysterious created a bridge on which we met. The Spirit was present then, it is present now. In today's service, I admit I do not explore the tragedy of one country invading another, but the service does affirm the presence of spiritual support for our lives and for the wholeness of the world. And I offered out my caring for you and my wish for you all and for all of us, peace.
So now in the spirit of COVID, we still want to be able to greet each other. So you are welcome to stand, turn around, wave to each other, and just say hello inside the service.
Hello, Melissa, good morning. Thank you.
What a wonderful introduction.
Pardon?
Stop doing it.
Oh, right. It's a happy problem.
Yes. Thank you. You all are very good greeters. This month we're trying very hard to be aware of our church covenant. So in your order of service is a copy of the church covenant, and we will now read it together. We, the members of the First Unitarian Church of Providence, with respect for the worth and dignity of each person, with wonder at the light we know by many names, and with gratitude for our deep connection to each other and to the larger web of existence, covenant to walk together in our search for truth, seeking the paths of wisdom, compassion, and justice. It is now our custom to read the joys and sorrows from the congregation which were written in a book at the back of the church earlier. A candle of sorrow for the sudden and unexpected passing of our dear friend Domine Becerra Ragosta on Friday evening. She was an extraordinary artist and a special person. Our thoughts are with her husband, Bob. And that's from Lucille Riccatelli and Ted Martin. A candle for two friends who lost their son this week. And our final joy and sorrow. And I apologize if I mispronounce the name of our community in Transylvania. A candle of support for our partners in Shentegiasa. Let them be free of worry of an expanding war. Keep them safe in this time of turmoil.
In life, we have to endure losses. Individuals have lost loved ones, and a whole country has lost its stability and security. The Spirit is a source of healing, a source of energy that keeps us going. May we welcome this Spirit. And during this time of silence, if you have lost someone close to you in the past year, we invite you to stand or raise your hand in silent witness of that loss. Let there be a time of silence. Amen. For the service today, I have 5 readings related to the spiritual life. The first is from Emerson, who comments on the spiritual experience, Ralph Waldo Emerson.
Crossing a bare common at twilight, under a clouded sky, without having in my thoughts any occurrence of special good fortune, I have enjoyed perfect exhilaration. I am glad to the brink of fear, standing on the bare ground, my head bathed in the blithe air, and uplifted into infinite space, all mean egotism vanishes. I become a transparent eyeball. I am nothing. I see all. The currents of universal being circulate through me. I am part or parcel of God.
Mary Oliver comments on spiritual practice.
Let the immeasurable come. Let the unknowable touch the buckle of my spine. Let the wind turn in the trees and the mystery hidden in the dirt swing through the air.
Also commenting on spiritual practice is this line from Zen Buddhism, which I heard somewhere in my travels and tucked away in my brain. And when I tried to look up its source and origin, I couldn't find it. So it might be just, I don't know, apocryphal, but it still applies to the spiritual practice, and I use it in my sermon.
Try not to try. Quit trying not to try. Quit quitting.
In the sermon, I comment on spirit as an avolitional experience of receiving and of grace, in contrast to will and volitional, the volitional side of our life. We need both, and this poem comments on the volitional.
Invictus. Out of the night that covers me, black as the pit from pole to pole, I thank whatever gods may be for my unconquerable soul. In the fell clutch of circumstance, I have not winced nor cried aloud. Under the bludgeonings of chance, my head is bloody but unbowed. Beyond this place of wrath and tears looms the horror of the shade, and yet the menace of the years finds and shall find me unafraid. It matters not how strait the gate, how charged with punishments the scroll. I am the master of my fate. I am the captain of my soul.
And then the Unitarian minister Rebecca Parker comments, Unitarian Universalist minister Parker comments on what we receive from spiritual sources.
There is a love holding me. There is a love holding you. There is a love holding all. I rest in this love.
You're
Thanks, Jeff and the choir. Beautiful. Well, this sermon describes the spiritual life. I offered hoping to support your spiritual lives and to remind you of the peace it brings. The spiritual life includes the spiritual experience, an experience of union. It includes an understanding of the Spirit as a oneness, a source. It includes a spiritual practice, a cultivation of the spiritual life and spiritual experience. The spiritual journey, a quest into the mystery where one receives sustenance. And the soul. The soul is the organ that yearns for and receives the Spirit. The spiritual life gives support and transcendence. It generates theology, gods and beliefs, and ethical action, peace and justice. In a spiritual experience, for a moment, one shifts from seeing the world as composed of separate components, oneself among them, to realizing the union of all, being included in that union and feeling peace. I think this experience comes with 3 intensities. Emerson's was very intense, glad to the brink of fear, transparent eyeballs, currents of universal being. The Spirit can also slip in like a breath barely noticed. This has happened to me, maybe you too, such as on an ordinary walk in the woods. For a moment, I pause in awe. This hillside had no outstanding beauty, just trees, an easy path, and a glimpse of the oneness of everything. If you notice your spiritual experiences, wonderful. If not, they still breathe life into you. And indeed, as a third intensity, without your awareness, Spirit unites you with all. Even if you do not notice a spiritual experience, you benefit from its effects. Spirit is our source of life, love, and energy. If you are alive, loving others, living with energy, you can thank spiritual sources. Spiritual experience can happen in solitude or with other people. Conversing or silent, touching or making eye contact, sometimes a transcendent encounter occurs. The Spirit connects us. The theologian Martin Buber called it the I-thou experience of union with another person. I had that kind of moment welcoming the young man from Moscow. So, with earth-shaking intensity, quiet subtlety, or completely unnoticed, alone or with someone else, spiritual experience occurs. You do nothing to create a spiritual experience. As such, it is like sleep. While sleeping, you do nothing. And your body heals, your mind files experiences into memories, and cleans out amyloid, sort of the brain's trash. It's as if a nighttime janitorial crew organizes the files and shines the floors so you can greet the morning refreshed. We surrender to sleep and receive these gifts. And so we surrender to spiritual experience and receive its gifts. As a gift, spiritual experience is also like breath. We breathe, usually without noticing, and receive the gift of air, which fills and sustains. And indeed, the word spirit derives from the Latin spiritus, meaning breath. We receive spirit like breath, and it fills and sustains us. This theme of sustaining breath appears in the book of Genesis as God creates the first human out of clay and breathes the breath of life into this person. So you and I receive the breath of life. Thank you, God. We can cultivate breathing, like opening ourselves to receive the air our bodies need. We can cultivate our spiritual life similarly by opening to the Spirit, i.e., the spiritual practice. Mary Oliver opens to the Spirit saying, "Let the immeasurable come. Let the unknowable touch the buckle of my spine." People then practice meditation, prayer, devotional reading, acts of service. They go to church, walk in the woods, take pilgrimages, fast, gaze at stars, form human relationships, all to open the soul and welcome the Spirit. Even with spiritual practice, one does not control the spiritual experience. The relationship between the spiritual experience and spiritual practice reminds me of a scene in the movie To Have and Have Not with Humphrey Bogart and Lauren Bacall. In this scene, Bogart and Bacall are having a little repartee when Bacall sits on Bogey's lap, calls him a stinker, and gives him a kiss. Bogey, looking uncharacteristically dumbfounded, asks, "What'd you do that for?" Bacall replies, "Been wondering whether I'd like it." Bogart asks, "What's the decision?" Bacall, "I don't know yet." And she kisses him again. This time, Bogart is more involved in the kiss. She concludes, "It's even better when you help." The Spirit gives you unexpected smooches from time to time. You do nothing to make them happen, but it's even better when you help. Nevertheless, I cannot command a spiritual experience to occur, at least not successfully. Zen expresses this effortless spiritual practice with a suggestion: try not to try. Relax into the Spirit. Let it breathe its life into you. And so the monk, someone like me, tries earnestly, focusing on not trying, hoping to get it right. The master sees the monk strain at not trying and suggests, "Quit trying not to try." The monk is confounded. If spiritual experience is not under one's control, what do I do? The answer: stop thrashing. You're buoyant. Just float. Is difficult. So the monk tries to quit trying to try. The master sees this and suggests, "All right, quit quitting. Let the immeasurable come. Allow grace." So confounding when one wants to command the spiritual experience. One in the spiritual experience reminds me of a friend out walking on a beach one day and hearing the other beach walker calling out, "Blessings come." My friend thinks, "Really? So demanding." And the woman, "Blessings come." And my friend thinks again, "Well, why not? You go, girl, demand your blessings." And the woman keeps shouting, "Blessings come." People can long for the Spirit. The soul yearns for its presence. That yearning, lifting up to the mystery, is a sweetly vulnerable part of the spiritual experience and spiritual practice. And the woman again, blessings come. As my friend was musing on the spiritual implications of this woman's cry, out from the dunes runs a yellow lab, tail wagging, and the woman greets the dog and continues walking, content that blessings has returned. And the dog lopes off along the surf. I think Spirit is like that, not under our control, but loving us, wanting to be with us, and bounding up with blessings from time to time. Spirit's blessings are life, love, and energy that well up from some mysterious source, raw and unformed. Like a muddy spot on a hillside where water wells up from the ground. After welling up, that water is channeled into a stream. So, spiritual gifts, the raw materials of life, love, and energy, well up, and our will channels them into how to love, how to live, who to love, and what to do. To some people, the Spirit or God does everything and controls every action. Their personal will goes along for the ride. It sounds lofty and pious to be so Spirit-driven, but when I hear this attitude, I want people to own responsibility for their choices. To others, it is all will. It sounds impressive to have a powerful will, master of my fate, captain of my soul, and so forth. But I am concerned about such people in their resolute self-reliance. I realize it is unnerving to trust and relax on the Spirit's infinite ocean, it being mysterious and out of our control. And will is what we know and control and trust. People then work hard, try to be perfect, and do enough good deeds to earn peace. That application of will can work for a while, but without opening to the Spirit, I am concerned that people would strain. It would be like running a marathon while breathing through a straw. Furthermore, reluctant to yearn for that infinite Spirit which they cannot control, people might direct their desiring energy instead onto something finite, which they can control, like a substance, a behavior, an idol, as if that would bring salvation. Worshipping one idol, people can desire power and wealth, sometimes ruthlessly overrunning other people, laws, and entire countries to add to their power and wealth. But power and wealth and all other idols do not fill the soul. And when focused on obsessively, idols become addictions, harmful to the idolatrous and to other people. Instead, people ideally direct their yearning to the mystery. And sometimes peace, like a happy dog, comes bounding up. The gifts the bounding dog of peace offers us, those blessings, is aliveness. The Spirit breathes aliveness into us. It gives us a pulse, like a vitalizing energy. Tragedy in the world can drain our energy, and the Spirit recharges us. Spirit gives us love. Rebecca Parker described a love holding me, holding you, a love holding all. We all rest in this love. It is a friendly cosmos, helping humanity become friendlier. Related to love, Spirit is about union. The Spirit lives in connections, wholeness, oneness, not separations and divisions. It links us to all, to each other, to the world. On my walk in the woods or Emerson's across the common, there is a sense of oneness with all. Being about oneness, union, no boundaries, the Spirit has an infinite quality. Sane life requires boundaries. But in spiritual life, all is one infinitude. With this union connected to the trees, the ground, the air, I belong. I am home. And belonging gives me peace. And I need this peace when rattled by ruthless power in the world. This oneness has ethical implications. If I am connected to all, what affects others affects me. And so I care about my brothers and sisters in Ukraine and around the world and want to support them. And such belonging saves. Supporting peace, sustained and supported, at one with all, we are saved. And when you need it most, when on your journey you are lost and alone, when you're almost done and have nothing left, your willpower exhausted, the answers you once had seem wrong, when you do not love but hate, when the night is too dark to see, when you are lost and in a free fall, when you cry a prayer of yearning, I'm scared and alone, Spirit, come, blessings come. This longing like a crack in the impervious will, a crack through which the Spirit can enter. The Spirit's loving hands find you and slow your fall. And there you rest, alive and aware. Instead of lost and alone, the Spirit unites you with all and loves you, which saves you. This happened after my father died. I was a kid, 17, and felt lost without him. So I went hiking for a week. And during my hike, I passed through 3 consecutive days of rain. On the first day, I felt annoyed. On the second, depressed. On the third day, I realized my life had shattered, and the clouds poured relentlessly, and I surrendered and let the tears pour with the rain, and the trail beckoned me onward, as if saying, this is the place to be lost. There was no mystical moment, yet some intangible support breathed into me with each plodding, muddy step, leaving me eventually at peace. The spiritual experience is meaningful, yet difficult to talk about. I can sort of describe my moment in the woods. Emerson can tell you his, but words, even Emerson's, can't quite convey the mystery. Furthermore, spiritual experience defies words by being about oneness. Words form boundaries and definitions. So when I say chair, you think chair and not something else. But in union and oneness, there are no boundaries, and then no words. Indeed, one defining quality of a spiritual experience is that it is ineffable. Furthermore, the conversation might feel awkward. I mean, Emerson's neighbor comes up, "Hey, Waldo, how you doing?"
Great, Charlie. Just the other day, I was a transparent eyeball. Oh, really? Yeah, the currents of universal being circulated through me. I was part or parcel of God. Yeah, nice. Well, the guys are coming over to watch the game. I gotta go get some chips and salsa. See you later. And yet we use words anyway, hoping to convey a hint of this valuable mystery. As the Spirit eludes words, people use similes and metaphors. It is like sleep, like breath, like the welling up of a spring. It gives us unexpected kisses. It gallops up to us like a yellow dog and loves us with boundless love. Its hands catch us when we are lost and falling. Theology, gods and beliefs, give us further ways to put words to the Spirit. Emerson theologizes, saying he felt part or parcel of God. Others might say, God was present in that moment of union, or God spoke to me. In the story of the spiritual life, God is a character symbolizing the Spirit's glory. But words, even God, make the Spirit into one more object, which it is not. To use words but not about the Spirit, we can talk to the Spirit, which is prayer. Dear Spirit, dear mystery, this morning we have gathered to take a few steps on our spiritual journeys. Sometimes on those journeys, I and others feel lost. Sometimes the world seems lost and careening away from your love and peace. Other times, life is not much of a journey. The routine is just routine, and people hunger for meaning. Give us again and again the breath of life. Offer us moments that link us to each other and to the infinite, that show us we belong. Grant us the peace that passes understanding. In the end, thank you for filling our souls and giving us what we need for our lives and for the world. Amen.
We are now going to take the offering. Once a month, we offer our Sunday collection to a local group working to improve the lives of people in our community. And today is that day. Today is the community collection for this month, and everything that you give in today's offering, unless you specifically direct it otherwise, will be given to Everett Company Stage and School. Everett Company is an organization of diverse artists who create original concert works and video productions, carry out a wide range of innovative educational programs, and mentor new generations of young artists. Everett was founded in Providence in 1986 and has since gained substantial national recognition for its unique creative vision and effective community partnerships. Through these community partnerships, it nurtures the creative arts in diverse populations, including underserved youth and recently incarcerated people. The company's performances have toured throughout the United States and Canada, gaining numerous awards, including a New York Bessie Choreography and Creator Award and a Rhode Island Pell Award for Excellence in the Arts. Everett's performances include educational components which tour to schools, museums, workplaces, and other community settings. The company also runs the Carriage House Stage and School in Providence, which provides a home base for creation, performance, presenting other artists, and providing in-depth performing arts programming for urban children and youth. Encompassing a company, stage, and school, Everett's ensemble of artists create, perform, teach, and mentor new generations of artists within a diverse community. Guided by the principles of collaboration and experimentation, Everett explores complex social issues through a combination of theater, dance, music, and video. At the heart of the organization is the belief that the arts can transform lives across cultures, generations, and economic backgrounds, and create a more just, equitable, and joyous future. We appreciate your generosity, not only in all you give, but all you do and all that you are.
I understand there are no invitations this week. I want to thank Alyssa and Jeff and the choir and all of you for sharing in the service together with me today. We are mysteriously connected. We are part of a oneness. May we live the fullness of that oneness, receiving strength and support and offering it to our brothers and sisters in the world. May we go in peace. Amen.
Please join in the unison extinguishing of the chalice. Oh, it's extinguished. It took care of itself. Wonderful. We carry the flame of peace and love and hope Until we meet again.